Hey, this is Aaron, the Metal Theologian. So we're listening to a little Destruction, and I'm gonna bust out some another Fanta here. This is the Pina, the pineapple shit. Look at that. It's kind of a weird color. It looks weirder on the camera than it does in real life, but it doesn't exactly look like a natural color. I mean, let's be honest here. Be careful. I tried to make this video the other day and I slopped this shit all over the place. And it's actually kind of funny because I just wiped it up and kept talking, but it turned out I wasn't recording, so I kind of made an ass out of myself. But no one knew except me, so what the hell. Yeah, this is almost even lighter than the grape one from the other day, man. Like, it kind of comes in the finish, but it's definitely not like artificial pineapple flavor. It's like sort of mellow thing. It sort of goes, yeah, there's a little pineapple in there, but it's basically like a refreshing drink. So I'm actually pretty happy with these Fantas, man. I mean, it'd be great if they had caffeine in them. But these things are hitting the spot. So yeah, I kind of recant a little bit about some of the nasty things I've said about English prog. That's sort of the point of this video here is, I've said a lot of things in the past about, like, fucking how, these English prog bands and how, yeah, some of them were kind of old friends. I really liked Genesis a lot when I was in high school, but, I've sort of rediscovered them of late, and King Crimson a little bit too, but really only that first record. But man, I don't know, something just fucking clicked for me, and it's weird. I mean, because, Yes is, like, the perfect band here for me to be talking about in this regard, because, I gave Yes so many chances over the years. I mean, I had friends who liked them in high school, like, going that far back. Every couple of years, I'd listen to it and go, okay, maybe this is the Yes record I need to hear, and every time it was like, fucking no. So most recently I was actually talking with Steve, Harmless Rebel, and he was saying that if you're going to suggest one, it would probably be this one. Well, it's funny because I went out and got it, and well, actually no, that's not true. I listened to it online again. I was like, whatever. But then a month or two went by, and I was at work, and I was like, I'll put on Tales from Topographic Ocean just for the hell of it. And man, I listened to the whole thing from start to finish, and it's not the first time I've done that, by the way. Listened to the whole thing from start to finish, and it just hit the spot. I was like, man, I can't believe it. It's weird. I still think John Anderson's a wuss. This thing is still, every bit as ponderous, and, everything I ever said about it was actually true, but, it wasn't bothering me now, you know what I mean? It was, scratching the certain itch that I hadn't really perceived before, and I was just digging it. So I kind of went on this kick. I fucking went nuts. It's kind of crazy. So I went out, and sure enough, this is the only one they had at my local shop when I saw it. So I took that one home. Fucking, I was all over it. Totally enjoyed it. So I ended up grabbing a couple more. And, it was really kind of funny for a while, because, now it's been, a month or two, but I was kind of enjoying telling people, yeah, I really hated Yes until 3 days ago. But it was true, I couldn't stand this band, man. I mean, it's not quite true. I didn't hate them, but I thought they were tedious. I thought they were pretentious as hell, and I didn't think they had anything to do with rock and roll. And I don't know, man, it's just fine now, it's some of these songs are pretty decent, when they're noodling around and shit and kind of dicking around. It's taking them forever to do so. It doesn't really bother me, It kind of sounds nice. And, like I said, the singer isn't that great, but God knows I have records with worse singers on them that I fucking love. I'm really thirsty today. So it kind of forced me to reassess, some of this English prog shit. So, I had this record sitting around. I actually got this for a dime at a record shop that was shutting down here in Charleston. At the time I was like, man, I hate this band. I don't like this record at all. I like Tarkus, but I don't really like this record, but man, it's a dime. I mean, what else am I going to do with a fucking dime, So, but I pulled it out the other day, and, something, it's not bad at all, It's, like, really heavy on the organ, which I love. And, there's some shit on here I really don't need, but overall, this really isn't such a bad record, It's wussy, and it's kind of precious, and all the other stuff I've ever said. But, something, man, when you get in a certain mindset, it's late at night, sort of coming down, it's really not that bad, So, I gave some of the later King Crimson records another chance, too, and I was like, okay. I had the first one for a long time. I mean, I've always loved that record, pretty much. I've come to appreciate, like, the long, drawn-out parts of it more, too, with time, and not just, like, the hit single, But, I like the second one for a while, but I got rid of it a long time ago, and Lizard I used to have, I never really liked that one, and I had friends try to turn me on to Red and Discipline, and none of them did it for me, so I grabbed this one not too long ago, though, with my sort of newly discovered, like, appreciation for English prog. And, man, this record's really cool. I mean, there's some, like, weird parts, like that whole, like, Lark's Tongues and Aspic business with just, like, the sounds and shit. But I really enjoyed this record. It's a fucking John Wetton record. I mean, my primary association with that fucker is still Asia. But what can I say, man? It's a really enjoyable listen. I dug this. I really did. And I listened to Islands online. I still thought it was a piece of crap. So I'm kind of getting the sense that that's a band I'm going to have to proceed with a little bit of caution on. I wouldn't if it were still the 90s, but now these records are like $20 a pop. It's like, if I paid $30 for that reissue, 35 even for that reissue of Islands, man, if I gotten that thing home, I would have been pissed, man. Yeah, so anyway, I've sort of been in this place where, I've actually been picking up some English shit and giving it another chance, Like, I grabbed this one when I saw it recently, fucking Barclay James Harvest. When I started doing this, if you told me, oh yeah, man, you're going to be showing Barclay James Harvest records next time, I'd be like, fuck you, man, no fucking way. But, so I was like, well, what the hell, It's like, it's an original press, this is, and it turned up in the wild, and wasn't that expensive. See, look, here's the original label and shit. But I don't think this one ever came out over here. I don't know. So I was kind of surprised to even find this thing. I was like, yeah, what the hell. I was actually surprised at how song-based this one is. I mean, I was expecting it to be a lot more sort of proggy and noodly and sort of emphasis on weakness, But, well, actually, I played this record twice. First time I played it, I was like, oh, this isn't bad. I played it again the other day, and I kind of thought it was kind of boring. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe this is just one that I sort of have to be in the right mood for, I'll tell you another band I still don't really like is Gentle Giant. But, I don't know, this one, I found some things to like about it, one of these days it might be a perfectly decent addition to my growing collection of English prog, man. Here's another one I got at the same time as that one. It's another one that I was surprised to find in the wild, but this is the, the Third Year Band, and this is Alchemy. I thought this record was a piece of shit. I really did. I mean, I'd like to sort of, if I were liked them and were trying to say something good about them, I might coin a cute little expression like Baroque and roll. But first of all, there's nothing rock and roll about this record at all. It's just fucking boring shit. And it's it's not Baroque either. It's like pre-Baroque. It's like Madrigal era shit. And it's like the whole reason Bach was such a big deal was because he kind of threw all that shit out the window, man. And I mean, I think the 20th century is way more happening. It comes orchestral music in the fucking 16th century, but if you're feeling like you want to be listening to some 16th century boring music, but you want to be hip about it, then this is probably a good record for you. But otherwise, I can't really recommend this thing to speak of. So that one was kind of a failure. But something? I got this record again. This almost doesn't even really fall in the scope of this video. But this is a record I've always loved, and goddamn, man, I just really enjoyed the hell out of this thing when I played it the other day too. It's kind of cool to have this pressing of it too, with that there. Where is it? Wow, my fucking finger's going the wrong direction. Yeah, and the pictures of the gatefold too. Might as well bust those bad boys out. Yeah, see, there's Roger Waters with his girlfriend. I sure hope she dumped him, not the other way around. But man, this fucking record, it's funny, I don't really like it for the same reasons I did when I first heard it. But I still like the fact that it's not just psychedelic or like proggy, but it's actually like really spacey. And like this might be the most like space rock out of the catalog. And given what a Hawkwind fan I am, that's very high praise for a Pink Floyd record. So, you know, so I'm digging that. Now here's another one that's another like kind of precious English prog one. But there's another one I remember liking like a long time ago. I guess I still like this record just as much. I mean, there's some noodly parts on this. There's some parts where he's playing some shit on the organ that really isn't ripping my face off, you know. And Long Piece number 3 is definitely a pretty fucking pretentious title for a record. But man, the first track on this is heavy. I mean, it kind of goes into noodle wussy land. But the opening riff, fucking, it could have been a Sabbath riff. I mean, it's actually kind of incredible. So this is Egg. If you ever heard of them, The Polite Force. It's their second record. Their first record I didn't like as much back then, so this is kind of the one I went for. But it's a cool piece, man. That's actually a reissue. I used to have an original. What can I say? It's not the only one, but I don't feel like spending what originals cost now because I don't like it that much, you know. This, though, is another one. It's an original press that I found in the wild. I found these in Colombia not too long ago, and I was like, fuck, man, I don't know if I really need an audience record. House on the Hill was so lousy and that, but dude, I took this home. I really like this one. I mean, look at these fucking pictures, dude. I don't normally see that on records that I think I'm gonna like, you know what I mean? But I was like, oh, what the hell, man? I could count on one hand the number of times I've seen this record in my life. And it's just fucking good, man. It's on Charisma. It has a lot of saxophone, this record does. You know, it's total prog, but the songs aren't really long. They're kind of relatively succinct compared to most of these things. And they're just well put together and just, like, enjoyable, you know? It's like if you sort of, like all, like, the pretentious sort of aspect of this record, like, if you just sort of put that to one side and just say, you know, I'm just going to say fuck all that shit and just try and dig it for the songs, there's really a lot to enjoy here, you know? And yeah, it's still prog rock, you know? But, again, you know, it kind of fits in here nicely. It scratches a slightly different itch than, say, that Egg record, let alone that Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But neither one is going to be, like, balls out like a fucking German thing. Now, speaking of German shit, because I've got to show a couple things like that, or else you think you're in the wrong channel here, or else I'm a pod person or something. This is what I was talking about with Scott Waters not too long ago. This is the first Faithful Breath record. And it's really not that great. This is an old reissue on the Amber Sound Room label. I think there's a more recent one too. This one's pretty hard to find for a while though, and originals are like sought after. It's really surprisingly symphonic given the sort of like Viking metal direction they went into, you know, which is kind of funny anyway because they were German, right? But I think part of why they were such a good band later on actually, because like they managed to pull that Viking thing off so well in spite of being German. Like they don't really sound like the Swedish bands, but they definitely don't sound like the German bands. So this thing is the total prog record, though. It's a completely different sounding band. And so it's kind of surprising if you don't know about them. The 73, this record. And, you know, it's okay. It's I don't really recommend that one, but it's kind of an interesting thing to show. Now, this one, this is a motherfucker, and this is still the pick of the lot. Because, see, I'm recanting a bit. I'm saying, you know something? That English shit, it really isn't so terrible. And maybe I've been too down on the English in the south, from the south of England, especially. Than they deserve to be. Or than they, you know, maybe they got more sort of venom from me than they really, than was really warranted. But none of that stuff, those Canterbury bands and that shit, none of them can hold a fucking candle to this thing. Because this record is fucking great. Because you know what this is? And I just clued into this when I fucking finally got my hands on this, and I was so stoked. Look at that weird cover, man, with the egg. I mean, shit, look at that weird cover. I mean, how fucked up is that? But, this band is like a punk band that decided to go prog in execution. Like, the lyrics are really, I mean, they're like smart punk lyrics, you know what I mean? They're like, you know, it's like when you listen to punk records and you go, you know, some of these guys are hearts are in the right place, but they really just sound like a bunch of fucking dumb kids. These guys really don't sound like that. And like, stylistically, it's a prog record, but it's just like has this dark edge, like sort of what I tend to say about the German shit anyway, right? But like between that and like the social criticism and stuff like that, it's really biting. and it's just a hell of a record, man. This is Spiegel, and in case you're not familiar with them, this is actually their first record. It's kind of funny. It's called Spiegel 2. It's a little bit of trivia, because they counted their first record that they put out when they were still called the Royal Servants, which apparently is more of a beat band. I've actually never heard them, but they made this record, and then a subsequent one is Spiegel, and I've heard the other one too. It's great. I had it on CD a long time ago. This is the only one I have now, and man, I listened to it a couple times, like sitting down with it. This is why records are so awesome, right? Sitting down with it in my living room and just playing the damn thing, dude, this record is a fucking beast. So, yeah, so I don't know, on Try 2, this video came out a little bit shorter, but it's interesting, you know, the Grown Man Record Night guys, I probably said this before, but like on one of their shows they said something that like I just thought was brilliant, which is that one of them said the older they gets, the more sense prog rock makes to them. And I gotta say, that's kind of been my experience too, in a weird way, but not like when I was still like in the first half of my 30s, and forget about my 20s, you know what I mean? Not that I was old in my 20s, but like in high school it made sense. I was like, you know, fucking corny. But now that I'm a little bit older and like the shit just sort of doesn't, it kind of flows off me more or something. Like I'm not as quick to feel like they're trying to put one over on me. It's easy for me to sort of go with it, man. And fucking I'm like, yeah, you know, fucking go ahead and do your 20-minute organ solo. Because I'll hang out and give it a listen. And if it sucks, I won't listen to it again. But you know something, it's fine. And you know something, maybe I can actually sit back and dig it for what it is. And that's kind of my new take on English prog. So I'm actually kind of keeping an eye out for like more of that shit, like King Crimson. And there are a couple more Yes records I want to get my hands on. I don't need the first two because I still don't like those. And obviously I don't need any of that later shit. But you know, some things like that. And if there are any tips out there, you know, feel free. I don't think Caravan is half bad. Actually, I should have pulled that out. In fact, I got a copy of Waterloo Lily like 4 years ago. And I was like, I had heard this band before. They're kind of lame. I brought it. We got the thing. It was relatively cheap. I brought it home, put it on. Like, yeah, this fucking thing sucks. I put it away and forgot about it. But my friend was in town from Boise, actually. Lord Doompaul. You should subscribe to him if you haven't already on YouTube, because he just started his channel, and it's awesome. But we were listening to a bunch of prog shit, because he was kind of going through the same thing, just sort of coincidentally, and we were put on that record. We were both like, man, this thing is totally fine, you know? So yeah, Caravan, like Cactus, I don't mind. I don't own any Cactus records, but I listened to Mirage online not too long ago. It wasn't too bad. So, you know something? There's probably a lot of good shit that I've missed. I didn't show any Soft Machine records today. I have a copy of 2 sitting over there in the other room. So, I don't know. It's like a new adventure almost, you know? Except it's weird because I've already heard all the bands, but I'm hearing them. They sound completely different to me this time around. So, I don't know. You know, not everything is bad about getting older, I suppose. I can give other examples too, but I don't know if I should. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Probably with more metal, because that's most of what I've been listening to. I was on this kick for a while, but I'm back on the metal, so. Alright, talk to you.